So you want to start a video podcast, but you're not sure where to begin. In this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step and show you everything you need to record a video podcast with remote guests in high quality video and audio. We'll keep it simple at first and show you how to use a USB mic and even your phone as the camera for your high quality video, and also show you a more advanced option using a mirrorless camera, video switcher, dedicated audio interface, and more. We're going to cover a more basic setup at the beginning and then more advanced options like mirrorless cameras and video switchers later in the video. There'll be chapter markers right here at the bottom of the video player and some timestamps in the video description if you want to skip to those parts of the video. Let's start with audio. The first thing you need is a good microphone. There's some great USB microphones out there that are under $100 like this one, the Audio-Technica ATR 2100X. It has both a USB connection so you can connect it directly to your computer or your mobile device, and an XLR connection if you later want to upgrade to an audio interface. We'll put a link to this microphone on Amazon, but a microphone like this and having a mic stand like this one, you can get it on Amazon, or the ATR actually comes with one of these stands. You definitely want something like this so you don't have to hold the microphone through the entire recording. A more advanced option would be to get a mic arm that maybe clamps to your desk, and this way you can place the mic exactly where you want and move it as you move in your video podcast. Again, we'll put links to a mic arm and a mic stand down in the description. Now, to connect a microphone like this to your computer, we're going to use a USB cable. This is a USB-C cable, pretty common. Your USB mic might come with a micro USB or other kind of USB cable, but one end goes into the microphone like so, and the other end connects to your computer's USB port. Depending on your operating system, you might see a window like this pop up. Allow the accessory to connect so you can use the microphone when you record. The next thing you'll need is a pair of headphones. We recommend wired headphones so you don't have to worry about battery life or latency, meaning a delay between your voice and what you hear, and you'll be able to actually listen to yourself with wired headphones. If you use AirPods or wireless headphones, there'll be a delay and you won't be able to hear your own voice as you speak. That's important to make sure you sound good. If there's any mouth sounds, you can move a little farther away from the mic. And if you want some tips on how to sound your best with whatever microphone you have, we'll link a video above and in the description with some tips for that. Now, a pair of wired headphones like this will have a headphone jack on one end, and if you're using a USB microphone, it will most likely have a headphone jack on the mic. Connect your headphones directly to the microphone. This way you can hear your own voice and your remote guests when you record. You can also connect your headphones to your computer directly, but then you won't monitor your own voice. It can be a little awkward hearing your own voice when you start out, but trust me, you'll want to do that to make sure you sound your best throughout your recording. If you're using an audio interface like this, there'll be headphone jacks on the interface that you'll use, but we'll get into a more advanced setup in a moment. Now that you have a microphone and headphones, the last thing you'll need for a video podcast is a camera. Now you can use a dedicated webcam or the built-in webcam of your laptop or desktop computer. And that's okay to start out with, but honestly, one of the best quality cameras you can get is the mobile phone in your pocket. If you have an iPhone and a Mac, you can use a feature like Continuity Camera to get your video onto your Mac wirelessly, which I'll show you in a second. Or when you record with Riverside, you can actually use the Riverside app to record in 4K video quality with your mobile device, iPhone or Android, and that'll give you incredible video quality with the device you already have. If you want to use a dedicated webcam like the Logitech StreamCam, which is a good value camera, it usually has a USB connection on the other end, and you would simply plug that into your laptop or desktop computer. Again, depending on your operating system, it may ask if you want the accessory to connect, and click allow. Whichever camera you choose to record with, make sure you elevate it close to eye level. This way it's at a flattering angle. If you're using the built-in webcam on a laptop, maybe put some books under the laptop to elevate it. Or if you're using a dedicated webcam, you can get a mini tripod or stand to put the webcam on. Likewise, with a mobile device, you can get a mini tripod and phone clamp. This way you can elevate the phone and have it closer to eye level. Or you can get one of these very convenient mobile phone mounts that actually rests on the lid of your laptop, or you can get one for a desktop as well. This one just happens to be made by Riverside. It expands both on the laptop lid side and to hold the phone. Your phone can slide into that clamp, and then this will lay on your laptop lid. You do want the rear camera facing you for the best quality video. Then a mount like this can just lay on your laptop lid and get incredible video quality right from your mobile phone. Now that we have our hardware set up, let's jump into Riverside to record with our remote guests. Using Riverside, you get high quality video and audio from yourself as the host and any remote guests you invite into the call. And the magic of Riverside is all that video and audio is recorded locally on each device. That means any internet blips or slowdowns or if something freezes, none of that actually gets into the recording. All that high quality video and audio is recording on each person's computer locally, and all those files are uploaded to your Riverside dashboard. Then you can download everyone's video and audio file without them having to send you anything. No more uploading files to a cloud service and then you having to download them later. Everything will be in one place in your Riverside recordings page in super high quality and making it easy for you to edit. And you can even use the Riverside editor to put it all together, which I'll show you in a second. When you log into your Riverside account, you'll see the studios here. You create a studio per show or per piece of content. You don't need to create a new studio every time you record. You reuse the same studio over and over again. This way you can have multiple episodes or multiple pieces of content under the same heading in one place. I'll click Go to Studio here in my Riverside account. Now here in the lobby, you have the option to choose your camera, microphone, and speaker output for this recording. If you wanted to mute or turn off your camera, you can click these icons on the video preview. But since you're doing a video podcast, you'll want to leave both of these active. Under the camera option, you'll see the Logitech StreamCam webcam that I've attached to the computer. I can also choose the built-in webcam, and because I have a Mac and iPhone, I can actually select my iPhone in continuity camera. Be sure to put your name here, this way your tracks will be labeled appropriately on the recordings page. Because we connected wired headphones, I'm going to select I am using headphones here under my name, but if you don't have headphones or if one of your remote guests don't have headphones, they can choose I am not using headphones here. This will turn on echo cancellation. Echo cancellation will reduce the echo of other people's voices coming out of their computer speakers, but for the best video quality, it is best to use headphones. In this case, even wireless headphones like AirPods would be better than not using any headphones at all. Now, if you don't have a computer, you can actually do this entire process just with the Riverside app on your iPhone, Android, or iPad device. We have an entire video walking you through that process of doing a video podcast from your mobile device. We'll put a link to that video above or in the description. And if you have an iPhone 15, it actually has a USB-C port, making the entire process even easier and allowing you to create an entire studio in your pocket. That's also a great setup for traveling, so we'll put a link to that video down in the description as well. Now that I have my camera, microphone, and speaker chosen, I'm going to select Join Studio. And now you're in the Riverside Studio. This is where you're going to record your video podcast with remote guests. A couple things to remember. If this is a new studio, you have access to all of these settings from the Riverside dashboard, but let's double check our recording settings. In the Studio Settings and Recordings tab, we want to make sure Record Only Audio is toggled off. We want to record video because this is a video podcast. I'm going to leave Remove Background Noise off for right now. For sample rate, when you're doing video and audio, it's best to do 48 kilohertz. If you were doing audio-only content, that's when you use 44.1. And for video recording, there is an optimized quality of 720p, but you can choose advanced to record up to 1080p and even up to 4K video quality. To record in 4K, you have to make sure your webcam or other video devices support 4K. Again, if you use Riverside's mobile cam feature, that supports 4K, or if you use the Riverside app on your mobile devices. But if you want to learn more about 4K and what devices support it, we have a video down in the description. You can check it out there. For frame rate, you'll likely have 24 frames per second as an option, but if you do want 2997 frames, that's one of the many features as part of our business plans, and you can contact our business team at the links in the description if you want to learn more. By default, we have a 5-second countdown after you hit the record button until it actually starts recording. If you want, you can disable it, start recording immediately upon pressing that button. And you can also choose to have the studio automatically start recording every time you enter it. You can enable that, this way you never forget to record when you're in the studio. Now up in the top right corner, we can name this recording. I'll call it episode 1, because this is our first video podcast. Again, we have another remove background noise toggle here in case someone has background noise. And if you do find that some of your remote guests maybe have low bandwidth or spotty internet and they keep freezing or stuttering, you can actually turn on low data mode for all. This will disable everyone's video live during the call, but it's still recording that high quality video and audio to their local device. That's the Riverside magic. So you still get high quality video and audio that you can download those files later, even with low data mode turned on. And finally, here in the right-hand sidebar, you'll see all the participants in this call. If you expand this window, you can see what video, audio, and speaker device they're using. This is really helpful, especially if you have a remote guest who might not be used to recording and they don't have the right audio device selected. You can prompt them to change their device before you start recording. Keep in mind, you can mute and unmute once you start recording, but you cannot change your video and audio devices once recording has begun. So you want to make sure everyone has the right devices selected before you start. Now, when you're ready to invite a remote guest, here we have the guest link. There are several options here. Inviting audience members will allow someone to view live while you record, but not actually be recorded or be in the studio visibly. This is great if you want to live stream from your studio, maybe you're doing a webinar or just a live stream for your audience. You can invite someone as a producer. They will not be recorded, but will have access to some of the technical details of the recording, be able to screen share and participate in the live chat. But remember, producers are not recorded. They're only there to help with the technical side. Guest is most typically what you'll use. You copy that link and send it to someone. Have them open that link in either Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge web browser, and they'll see that pre-studio lobby screen where they choose their camera, mic, and speaker, choose whether they're using headphones or not, and then they'll be able to enter the studio here. In the studio settings, you'll see Require Guests to Wait in Lobby. If you have this toggled on, you'll see a name appear in that right-hand sidebar, and you'll need to admit your remote guests. If you want someone to join the studio as soon as they click that link and go through the lobby process, then you can disable this, and guests will enter as soon as they select their microphone, speaker, and camera. A few other tools before we start recording. There is a live chat where you can send messages in the chat window to everyone. This is great to use as you record to send messages discreetly to your other guests. And anyone watching live in the audience mode will actually be able to participate in the chat as well. We also have a media board here in Riverside where you can upload video or audio clips and then play these during the recording. These clips will also be recorded and you'll get them as a separate track later if you want to edit it either in the Riverside editor or in something like Final Cut or Premiere. You can upload files up to 100 megabytes each, video or audio. Going back to the People tab, then you can see yourself and any remote guests in the sidebar. As you record, you can also choose to share your screen, whether it's for slides, videos, or web browser tabs. Click the Share button, choose Screen, and then you can choose a specific window or your entire computer screen. If you're on a Riverside business plan, you can also upload a presentation via PDF, Keynote, or PowerPoint and show those slides while you record. And you get those in a separate track as well to make editing even easier after the fact. Riverside also has a script option where you can add some text. This way you can refer to it as you record. And you can even enter teleprompter mode, which will make the text bigger. You can choose how fast you want it to scroll. And clicking play, you can read from your script while you record. And if you keep your eyes reading towards the top of the lines, it'll still look like you're looking into the camera as you record. Finally, you have the speaker, microphone, and camera options down here, again, which you can change before you start recording, but not after you start. Once all your remote guests have entered the studio, it's time to record. I can roll over the record button, and I can choose to run a test recording. This will very quickly give you a countdown, and you'll record for about 10 seconds, both you and all your remote guests. Now that it's recording, it'll give you some prompts to say, like get ready to say something. And now, when you're ready, say, I'm testing my microphone. This is testing the microphone and the video settings, and it will actually upload these files that were recorded locally so you can spot check everyone's audio and video that's in the studio. As you can see, it'll give you that upload progress bar, and once everyone's files are uploaded, then you can see everyone's video and make sure they sound and look great. If you have multiple guests, you'll see multiple guest video here, and you can scroll and play theirs. And once everything sounds and looks great, you're ready to record. I'll click End Test, and now if I roll over the record button, I can start recording, or if I want, I can just click the record button. Our studio is set to have that 5-second countdown, and once we get to 0, now we're recording our video podcast. Both you and your remote guests, all your video and audio files are recording locally to your machine and being uploaded even as you record. You'll see the upload status both in the top toolbar, and you'll see the % uploaded under each remote guest's name. Make your video podcast even more engaging by sharing your screen, adding video and audio files to your media board and playing those. And if you have something like a video switcher, you can make it even more engaging, which we'll get to in a second. Once you're done recording your video podcast episode, we're going to click Stop down here, right where the record button was. Once you hit Stop, you'll see the upload progress for you and all your remote guests in that window in the bottom left corner. And once everyone's video has been uploaded to 100%, depending on internet connection, it might take just a few seconds or a few minutes, and then everyone can leave the studio. Remind your guests to stay in the studio once you stop recording just for a few minutes to make sure everyone's files are uploaded. If someone leaves early, that's okay too. Just send them the link riverside.fm/upload. If they open that link in the same web browser and on the same computer they used to record, Riverside will still upload those local files, and then you'll be able to access them in your dashboard. Once all the files are uploaded, I can click View Recordings here, and I'll jump right to my Riverside Recordings page. You can also access your recordings by going to your studios, rolling over, and then clicking View Recordings on a specific studio. Here you'll see all your past episode recordings for this podcast or whatever your content may be. And here's what the recordings page looks like in Riverside. The first thing you'll notice is our AI Show Notes feature. If I click Generate Show Notes, Riverside is actually going to use AI to generate a summary, some bullet points about this episode, and even episode timestamps. Those will come into play once we get to the Riverside editor. Once you've generated those show notes, here you'll see the summary, takeaways, and chapter markers. Scrolling down even further, you'll see two options, one called Magic Clips and one saying Generate Full Episode. If I click Generate Clips from Magic Clips, Riverside will automatically, using AI, find the most engaging moments of your video content, create vertical short-form clips that are about a minute long, ready for you to share to social media. Then you can edit those further by adding captions or changing the in and out points, and those will all be created in just a few seconds. You can also choose to generate a full episode and will remove silences, add captions, and get your video podcast ready. Then you can still tweak some minor edits after the fact in the editor. Scrolling down to the bottom of the recordings page, here you'll be able to download all the individual tracks for everyone in the studio. For instance, here's my recording, and if I click high quality, I can download the raw video, synced video, which if someone came late to the recording, it will add some blank space at the beginning and end. This way that track is the exact same length as everyone else's. It makes it easier to edit if you're bringing it into Final Cut or Premiere. I can also download the raw audio if I want to make an audio podcast using the uncompressed WAV or high quality audio file. If I want to download all these individual files in a zip file, I can select download all. And as you can see, whenever you share your screen or use media board files, you'll get all of those as separate tracks as well. You can click download, and downloading the synced video of those tracks is even more helpful. This way you can create a multicam clip in Premiere or Final Cut, and all the tracks will be the exact same length, helping you line everything up much easier. If you want to learn more about multicam clips and exporting your content to edit outside of Riverside, check out this video above, or the link is in the description. And at the very bottom, you also get a transcript every time you record. You can download a text version of the transcript or SRT, which is great for captions on YouTube or using in Premiere and Final Cut. And we do make it easy to export to Premiere and Final Cut using these export buttons right above your downloaded tracks. But the real magic comes if you want to edit your video content in Riverside. You can edit via transcript, add or remove external content, or even pull in other recordings you've done in your Riverside account. And editing via chapters is super easy. Also, if you want to send a link to someone to download all the audio and video files from your recording, you can click the share button in the top right corner, paste that link or send it to someone, and they'll be able to download all these files just for this particular recording. And when you're ready to jump into the Riverside editor, click Go to Editor in the top right corner. And you'll notice things look a little different. Many of the tools you're accustomed to are now on the right-hand sidebar, and we'll get to those in a moment. We still have the ability to reformat your content if you want to go 9x16 vertical, 1x1 square, or 16x9 widescreen. And our magic tools are up at the top, like removing all silences in one click. Now on the left-hand side, you'll see that every guest is color-coded. Nate is in purple here, and I'm in green. And those colors are also reflected down here in the timeline. So when I'm zooming in to make precision edits, I know exactly who's talking when just by looking at the color-coded waveforms. The search box for the transcript is here in the upper left corner, and I can search for a word or phrase and see all the results here in the transcript. And if I scrub over the search results down here in the timeline, I'll see who spoke it and the context plus the timestamp. Now I can edit my content and the transcript just by selecting words or phrases. If I want to remove it, I click delete, and now that section is gone from the transcript. And it's also disappeared out of view. You see it's replaced with a vertical line showing us that there is removed content here. If you'd like to see all the portions that you've deleted, click the eye icon here, and the sections removed will show up with a strike through so you know it's been deleted. Click the eye again, and you can hide all the deleted content, making editing even easier. Again, removing content is as easy as selecting and deleting, or if you need to correct the transcript, select a word, click correct, then you can type your correction, and now that's changed in the transcript and in the captions that will be overlaid on the video. I can enable captions by clicking captions on the right-hand side, choose the style I would like, and it's corrected in captions as well. Now once you've removed content, if you want to make a precision edit, click one of the vertical lines and you'll see a new Refine Cut command. Click Refine Cut and you'll be zoomed in on the timeline where this deleted portion is. Now that I'm zoomed in on the timeline, I'll see the in and out points of the cut that I made. This way I can see the waveforms as I'm editing and get these cuts exactly where I want it. You'll also notice we've automatically generated chapters throughout your recording. If you'd like to move any of these chapter starts, you can just click and drag on the dots on the right-hand side and move this chapter exactly where you want it to begin. You can rename each chapter by clicking the three dots and clicking Rename. You can also add chapters down here in the timeline by moving the playhead and then clicking the Add Chapter button here. Click the three dots to rename it, and you can see the new chapter here in the timeline, and it shows up here in the transcript. Now let's say you want to move the chapters around and rearrange your content. I can just click and drag on the chapter, and it moves the entire section just with a drag and drop. Watch again, if I want to rearrange my content, I just click and drag the chapter name, and it moves both the chapter and the content associated with it. Now if I want to delete a chapter, I can select Remove Chapter, and it actually leaves the content underneath. But if I want to remove a chapter and the content associated with it, I can click the three dots and then delete content, and both the video, audio, and chapter name are now gone from this recording. You can do the same here in the transcript by clicking the three dots and then delete content, and it will all be removed from this clip. You can also split sections and move them without creating new chapters. Here in the timeline, I'll move the playhead and click the split command in the bottom left. I'll split this a few times, and now I can rearrange the order of this content just by dragging and dropping. And that's all happening within a chapter. If you click the plus button in the bottom right corner, you can now upload content from your computer or choose from other recordings in your Riverside studios and place them anywhere in the timeline. For instance, maybe there's some audio we want to add. Maybe it's a sponsor break or ad. I can upload that audio. It will be added here at the end of the timeline, but I can click and drag it wherever I would like in my recording. Not only can you upload external content, but I can pull in other complete recordings from my Riverside account or import specific edits that I currently have in draft status. I can pull in this 3-minute recording I did another day. It will be added to the end of the clip, and you'll see the transcript from that other recording is also imported. You can see the first recording, here's me and Nate in green and purple, and then this recording I just imported has my name in blue. And of course, I can drag and drop this wherever I would like along the timeline. And even that imported content from another recording will bring over the chapters that were automatically generated with Riverside, and you can still edit via transcript from this additional recording here on the left-hand side. Now you'll see I have an imported clip, another edited draft for a few minutes, and a full second episode all right here in the same timeline with the chapter markers and the full transcript from all the recordings. I still have all the incredible formatting tools here on the right side. You'll see the multiple clips that I imported, the 2 full episodes, and the shorter recording. I can check or uncheck whichever ones I would like included in this clip. I can choose just to use the audio from any of these tracks. I can reorder if I want someone different on the left or right. I can still adjust the layout, keep the aspect ratio of the video. I can use the full frame AI to focus on the active speaker at all times, use the shared AI layout where the non-active speaker will be in picture-in-picture, or split the entire frame. Of course, change the style of my captions, the font size, and color. I can add a background image, either upload a custom image myself or choose one of our background images here, and even add a logo that I've uploaded previously, or add something new. Now, once you've edited your content just how you'd like, I can click the 3 dots above the transcript, download this version of the transcript with all the changes I've made, the SRT format of the transcript, or I can copy it all to my clipboard. And you'll see this transcript includes both full episodes that I imported, the clip, everything that I had in my editor is here in this transcript. I can also choose just to copy the chapters list, and this will just give me the timestamps and chapter names that I created. Using these chapters and timestamps is really useful for your podcast host. For example, here in Transistor, my podcast host, this also works in Buzzsprout. When I create a new episode, there's an option to import chapters manually via timestamp. If I paste the timestamps I had in Riverside, this will create chapters in my audio content for my podcast RSS feed. And if you're uploading your video podcast to YouTube, copy and paste these timestamps and chapter names here in the video description, and YouTube will generate those chapters for you. Once you have everything edited, click the share button in the top right corner. Of course, you can export up to 4K video quality, normalize the audio level so everyone's the same volume, remove the Riverside watermark here, and you're ready to export. And in just a few minutes, you can download this video file to upload to YouTube, Spotify Video. And before you go, let me show you an advanced setup to record a video podcast. This is what I use, which is a mirrorless camera, a dedicated podcast microphone and audio interface, and all going through a video switcher. For a more advanced setup and to use an audio interface like this, many of these audio interfaces will also have a USB port, much like the microphone. You'll connect this port to your computer, just like we did the microphone before. If the audio interface lights up, you know you're good to go. And if you have a higher quality microphone, it probably uses an XLR cable like this. It has 3 prongs inside the connector, and it will connect to the audio interface like so. Then the other side of the cable will go into your XLR microphone like this. Again, this is what I use to record video podcasts, which is an XLR microphone. This is actually the Earthworks Ethos, great mic, XLR to an audio interface. I particularly use the Rodecaster Pro 2, which we have an entire video on how to use that with Riverside. We'll link that above and in the description. Here in Riverside, for the microphone option, you'll then see the audio interface you've connected. Here it's the Vocaster 2, and that's what you'll want to choose for your microphone. Depending on your audio interface, you might need to get a larger headphone adapter. This is an 1/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, and your headphones will plug directly into your audio interface. That's why you choose the interface for both the microphone and speaker. Then for the camera, you have a couple options when using higher quality cameras. You can use a video switcher like the A10 Mini Pro, which is what I use. That connects to your computer, also via USB-C cable, and the Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro actually shows up as a camera option right here in Riverside when you connect it to your computer. And the video you're seeing right here in the lobby is from my Blackmagic A10. Now the camera is actually going HDMI out to the video switcher. Now you can choose to connect your mirrorless or other cameras via HDMI to a switcher like I have, or many mirrorless cameras actually come with the option to be used as a webcam, connecting your mirrorless camera directly to your computer with just one USB cable. Depending on your camera model, there's lots of different options like setting it for webcam or USB storage mode, and we have an entire video on using your mirrorless camera for a video podcast and connecting it to your computer. I'll leave that video down in the description to give you the step-by-step. And here you can see I've chosen my Blackmagic A10 for video, my Rodecaster or audio interface for my speaker and microphone. I'll choose I'm using headphones, and now I'm ready to record an even higher quality video here in Riverside. Now, one more detail when it comes to video podcast is lighting. Lighting is a key element to make sure your video podcast looks great. I actually have an entire video walking you through the 3-point lighting setup. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. But the main things to remember is you need a great key light. A key light is the main light that you'll want a nice big soft box, one of those white dome looking things, because that's actually going to diffuse the light and make it even across your face. I actually have an Amran 200X light, placed it at about a 45-degree angle above my head, which also helps reducing the glare or reflection in my glasses, and that softbox provides a nice soft light. I also have a fill light, the Elgato Key Light Air, and a hair light behind me. That 3-point lighting setup plus accent lights, like this Eve flare, the sphere sitting on one of my shelves behind me, adds some visual interest to your video shot. Again, if you need more help and tips when it comes to lighting, check out that video in the description. And if you have any questions about your video podcast setup, leave a comment below this video. I answer all the comments personally. I'll try to help you there. And subscribe to the channel. We have lots of content on the best USB mics, the best audio interfaces, and the best gear for video podcasts. And when you're ready to record high-quality video and audio podcasts with remote guests, you can sign up for Riverside for free with the link down in the description. If you want to learn more about getting your video podcast on YouTube and creating a podcast with your YouTube channel, check out this video above. And if you want to know what your podcast looks like in a variety of different apps, making sure you can optimize for Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you can check out this video right here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.